Amazing, I cannot believe myself. I'm Franco Stevens, the founder of Curve Magazine and the co-founder of the Curve Foundation with my wife, Jen Rainin.
And I'm Rebecca Rolfe, Executive Director at the San Francisco LGBT Community Center.
I want to wish you all a very happy Lesbian Visibility Week. Besides some of y'all's weddings, this might be the most lesbians and queer women that have been in this space in quite some time. And I'm pretty sure that it's the first time this flag has flown inside this building yet. So when I first moved to San Francisco, I didn't even know it was possible for a woman to be gay. I was married to a man, and all of a sudden I had these strange feelings in a class called Variations in Human Sexuality at San Francisco State University. I was 19 years old, and I realized that my life was about to change. Within a few years of that, I found myself divorced, living in my car, and seeking the community of people just like myself. So I went to the Castro. And I was like, damn, there's a lot of good-looking guys here. 1980-something. And I thought, where are all the women? So I went to a different light bookstore, which was the gay and lesbian bookstore in the Castro, and I was like, where's the magazine for lesbians? And there is none. But there was a lesbian that worked there, and so I thought, I've met one, I've got to work here too. So, long story short, I worked there. It inspired me so much to start the magazine and stop complaining that nobody else was doing it, and just do it myself. So as a 22-year-old baby dyke that couldn't get a loan, I took out a bunch of credit cards and I bet all the money on the racetrack. And here we are 34 years later. But one thing that also changed me is the way this city embraced me. It means everything to me. To be here today with all of you in community means everything today. And I was on the founding board of the San Francisco LGBTQ Community Center, and that's why I hand it over to Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Franco. It's truly an honor to be here. I'm so excited to see so many queer women in this space. I've come here for a lot of events, but this is the best ever, so really excited to have this. I think, I just want to really acknowledge the incredible work that Franco and Jen and the Curve Foundation have done to raise the visibility of Lesbian Visibility Day, then week. Maybe someday will be a month. I think in these times, it is so critical that we have opportunities to come together, to connect, to lift each other up, to celebrate, enjoy what it means to be queer, to celebrate this amazing city that we live in, that we get to be in this beautiful city hall celebrating Lesbian Visibility Week. So it's just a phenomenal, phenomenal experience. And we are really pleased to partner, to be the local on-the-ground partner for what is a national event. And so again, thanks to Jen and Franco for the work to bring this to the entire country. Thanks to all of you to come and help celebrate today. I also just really want to thank Rafael Mandelman, Supervisor, President of the Board Mandelman, for his partnership. He and his team have been in this from the get, have made it happen. I want to thank Mayor Lurie for having us in his house and on his balcony. And I want to thank Tom Horn for underwriting our event tonight, because it would not be so fabulous without some incredible champagne. So He's an honorary lesbian for the day. Didn't want a week, just wanted a day. So that's what he is. So thank you all for being here. And it is my honor to introduce our next speaker, which is Mayor Daniel Lurie, who has in just 103 days been working very hard to create a new vision for San Francisco. We are really pleased and honored to partner with him in so many different ways. But today, to really celebrate, to have him come together and help us celebrate Lesbian Visibility Day. So please join me in welcoming Mayor Daniel Lurie.
Thank you, Franco. That was amazing. Don't worry about that. Whose phone?
Oh, mine, sorry.
Rebecca, this is not my house. This is your house. I appreciate those words, Franco. I don't. It's the first time we've met, and I already am a huge fan of yours. I really thank you both for making this celebration a reality, for all the work that you do on behalf of our community. I also want to shout out our board president, Rafael Mandelman, for pushing so hard for this. It's an honor to be with all of you alongside so many change makers in this community. This is a historic moment for San Francisco. For the first time ever, the lesbian flag is being flown outside of San Francisco's City Hall. This flag is more than just a symbol. It's a powerful reminder of the strength, resilience, and pride of the community. And San Francisco, as we all know, has long been a beacon of inclusion and power of community. And today, by raising the flag for the very first time, we continue that legacy with purpose and with pride. As we celebrate the 5th anniversary of Lesbian Visibility Week, I am proud that San Francisco is standing in solidarity. The lesbian community represents the heart of activism and leadership in the LGBTQ+ movement, and your impact has touched every corner of this city. I want to thank you, Tom Horn, also, the president of the Bob Ross Foundation, whose unwavering support helps make these type of moments possible in our city. Thank you, Tom. Tom's not only a dedicated philanthropist, but a lifelong advocate for the LGBTQ+ community and for San Francisco as a whole. And you have always answered the call to uplift our city through arts, civic engagement, and your steadfast belief in equality and inclusion. And we are so grateful for your continued leadership and generosity. Thank you, Tom. Now, I'm going back to you, Franco. I want to especially thank you. I want to thank you and Rebecca for your tireless work at the LGBT Center, for your tireless work to elevate LGBTQ+ voices, lift them up. And now I can talk about Curve. We've talked about that. But through the Curve Foundation, Lesbian Visibility Week has grown into a national celebration of representation and pride. And Rebecca, I was with you at your event just on Saturday night, and I want to thank you for your 18 years of leadership at the LGBT Center. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. So today, San Francisco proudly raises this flag and says, we see you, we value you, and we celebrate you. And on behalf of a grateful city, I'm going to give this proclamation to both of you, because we are calling this Lesbian Visibility Week, and here's a proclamation. All right, and now it's my honor to introduce the board president, Rafael Mandelman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for opening the People's House for this event. It is often my feeling that lesbians do not get their due in the world, in the queer community. But if you think through our history, and particularly the history in this building and in the state capitol in California, it has often been women who have punched their way through the glass ceilings on behalf of all of us. We have one of those former supervisors here, Leslie Katz. When Carol Migden and Roberta Achtenberg were running for the Board of Supervisors, there was the feeling that they could not both win. There was not space in San Francisco politics for more than one queer woman. They both did get elected, and they both changed San Francisco and changed California and paved the way for so many queer people who would follow. Susan Leal very much wanted to be here. She is in Paris, feeling sad for her. But those former lesbian supervisors had huge impact. It is not good that it has been a quarter century since a lesbian has served on the Board of Supervisors. And it is my strong hope that very soon it won't be the gay boy pushing for this, that it will be a lesbian woman who is inviting everyone into this ceremony. One of the things that gives me so much happiness around these queer ceremonies, whether it's trans pride or pride or lesbian pride, is we get to see the amazing talent in our community. And as I look out, Mayor Weisinger visiting us from El Cerrito. The risk here is now I've started to name people and I'm going to get in trouble, but Marcy Edelman is someone who I should name because Marcy Edelman is the godmother of queer elder everything and open house, but so much more. There's a lot of icons here in this space, and I'm again grateful, Mr. Mayor, that you were willing to give everyone this place and raise the flag outside. I want to thank you, your staff, the Office of Protocol, Penny Coulter and Marone for all that you have done, and I should be naming more people, and of course Tom Horn. We're all thanking you, but we should all thank you because every year whenever we need to do something queer and fabulous in this building, we turn to Tom and the Bob Ross Foundation and they say yes. And so we're so grateful for that. I want to thank On Ha. Where are you, On? Wherever On is. There's On, and On in my office who helped, and Moises in the mayor's office who did so much. And I think those are mainly my thanks, but I'm just, for how many years have you been doing this outside? 2, 3, 2? The third. So for a couple years now, Franco, who it is true, to know Franco is to love Franco. But Franco has gathered a motley crew of a few lesbians willing to deal with the cold outside, and I've been fortunate to join a couple of those as we watch the building get lit up and freeze. And Rebecca has been doing this, and for this year, I think Franco correctly was like, we can do better. We can do better, and I think we've done better. So thank you for calling us to do that. Rebecca, talk about icons who I've been grateful to be able to work with. We are so grateful for all that you've done for the community, for the LGBT Center, for all of us. We love you. We're going to be celebrating you all year long. Get very, very, embarrassed. That's our job. And then lastly, I think my job is to go over here. And then, but first, to introduce Imani Rupert-Gordon, who is the, I don't need to introduce Imani, but in times like these, we need lawyers. We need lawyers to protect our hard-won rights. NCLR for decades. Speaking of icons, NCLR, founded by Roberta Axenberg, one of those amazing lesbians, lesbian former supervisors, has been fighting for our rights as a community for decades now. And I know that in this unprecedentedly challenging and horrific time, your team is ready and already fighting hard for us and will continue to, and it's an honor to be able to introduce you, Imani.
Thank you so much. Supervisor, thank you. Board President, thank you so much for the beautiful introduction. Hi, everyone. You know, I have some remarks here. I'm going to read them in just a minute, but I also just want to remind us, in this moment, we have to fight. That is what we have to do in this moment. We know that some of us have always had to fight for equality, that rights weren't just given to us. It's not that we don't deserve them, but that doesn't mean that they were given to us, and that's what we're doing in this moment. We can't cede any ground. That said, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Lesbian Visibility Week. My name's Imani Rupert-Gordon. I'm the president for the National Center for Lesbian Rights. I'd like to thank so many people here, Mayor Lurie, and all of our pro-equality leaders and elected officials that are here. I want to thank Franco, Jen, thank you so much. The Curve Foundation, you've hosted such amazing events and made Lesbian Visibility Week. You've put it on the map and made it possible because a lot of times we are invisible. And there was a time that was not so long ago when people that looked like us and loved like us had to live their lives in the shadows. There was a time when there was an LGBTQ movement, but that the needs of lesbians and queer women didn't benefit from them. There was a time when we didn't get to see our flag raised at City Hall. And so I'm honored to live and work in a city that, with that kind of vision and that kind of kindness and that kind of value for fairness and equity. I'm proud that I get to work every day to make the world a little bit better and a little bit safer, not only for lesbians, but for every single person in this country, LGBTQ or not. The National Center for Lesbian Rights was created to build a bigger tent because the needs of lesbians and LGBTQ women were often left out of the LGBTQ movement. NCLR was created to fill a gap and to include more of us. And because lesbians knew what it meant to be left out, the work of the National Center for Lesbian Rights has always been to be inclusive, to be intersectional, and to find space for everyone. And because of that, we live in a world where people can have complex and nuanced and true understandings of sexual orientation and gender identity. It's possible because of these trailblazers, of these lesbians that pushed for inclusion. And that's always been important because we don't have to look hard to see that not every LGBTQ person has the same experience, especially in this particular political climate. And right now, people and organizations across the country are showing up to say that it's not right. And so let's remember this Lesbian Visibility Day, or Lesbian Visibility Week, that before there were attacks on trans kids playing sports, there were attacks on masculine of center Black women and butch lesbians playing sports. And so when any kid can't play sports, that is a lesbian issue. Let's remember on Lesbian Visibility Week that lesbians were often denied the health care we needed, and we were forced into involuntary sterilization. And so when people don't have bodily autonomy, are not able to get the abortions that they need, and trans people can't receive the medically necessary health care they need, that is a lesbian issue. Right now, we're living in a moment where our opponents believe that we will shave off parts of our community, thinking that we'll save others. Let's remember that lesbians know what it's like to be left out of our own community, and it has always been for us to create a wider tent. It's what we've always done, and it's what we always will do. So this Lesbian Visibility Week, let's show our community that they're worth fighting for. So as thrilled as I am that we're able to celebrate every Lesbian Visibility Week, let's remember that part of being visible is making sure that we can remain visible. We deserve access, we deserve freedom, and we deserve equity. And because of the visionaries, the work of activists and organizers, the brave legislators, elected officials, and organizations that make our lives better, we have a reason to celebrate. But let's do one better this year. Let's fight for more. Let's fight for better. Even when there are people that are afraid to do it, let's remember that some of us aren't. It matters that we stand up. It matters that there are people that have that vision, that have that courage, and that have that strategy in this moment, because people will follow our lead, and that is our role. And I also want to be clear, for those of you that aren't quite visible yet, take your time. We're going to make the world safe for you. LGBTQ equality is not different from racial justice. It's not different from gender justice. Our fight is an intersectional one, and we're going to make this world better than the way that we found it. Happy and Lesbian Visibility Week. I'm so happy to be in community with all of you. Thank you all. And next, I'm going to introduce Carol Isen.
Okay, my name's Carol Isen. I'm your Human Resources Director here. I'm here, yes I am. Thank you to our favorite honorary lesbian. For all city employees here, we all know who it is, Supervisor Mandelman. So, city employees, you're out there, right? Come on, let's hear it. It's good to see all of you. A couple of my department head coworkers are here as well. Karen, Roy, this is Visibility Week, so it's time to stand up, Karen. Come on, we see you. Karen's been the very long time director of Child Support Services, and we've been coworkers for a long time. I think I saw Shireen McSpadden over there. Everybody knows Shireen. She's the director of our homeless services, and we're working hard for you every day. I've been given pages of notes, so I promise not to do it all, but I do want to thank the Curve Foundation for making this possible. I have been to many events on this over 40 years, standing in this space, and it's probably the nicest one I've ever been to. I've never been asked to speak, so thank you. And in my job, mostly I prefer not to be very visible. Most of the times people, if you want a job, you want to see me, but there's a lot of people who don't want to see me and some of the things I have to do. So here I am, visible. I first walked into the building in 1983, I was a young union representative, and it was a pretty crazy time in this building. Dianne Feinstein was our mayor. We all know how she became mayor. The police and fire departments were under consent decrees, being forced to integrate. Many lesbians, gay men were hired during that period. I see a few in the audience today. And right up into our last fire chief who recently retired, who was an out lesbian running the fire department. So from the time I walked in to now, a great deal of progress has been made. I would say visibility has been extreme to the point of almost invisibility. We're like everybody else that works in the building. And so I suppose for that, we're all very grateful. We've led the way in city employment here. Some of these things I either inherited or I got to be part of, and now I'm actually have the privilege of being able to lead. In 1978, San Francisco passed the first in the country ordinance banning discrimination in employment based on sexual discrimination, on sexual orientation. In 1989, we were the first city to offer domestic partnership benefits to municipal employees. None of this came, it didn't just fall into our laps. We had to fight hard for this, and it happened. I still hold one of those domestic partner certificates that Kevin Shelley signed as the Secretary of State. I'm sure many of you in this room remember that. In 2019, We became one of the first cities in the nation to launch a groundbreaking gender inclusion policy. We expanded our non-discrimination protections to explicitly include gender identity and ensure access to inclusive health care benefits. So we almost take these things for granted now, but they were hard fought, and I think the comments of our earlier speaker about not taking things for granted and not becoming invisible and recognizing our responsibility to be visible leaders. In 1978, I was a student at the University of Michigan, and Harvey Milk was standing on the front stairs there giving his now famous speech. And I went back and looked at the speech. We all know the opening line about "I'm here to recruit you." But buried in the speech was something that I noticed where he said, like every group, we must be judged by our leaders and by those who are themselves gay, those who are visible. For the invisible, we remain in limbo, a myth, a person with no parents, no family, no friends, and no important positions of employment. And so I took this time to reflect that the generation before me, probably nobody would have ever had a job like this. So I benefit from the people who came before me, from all the women, and I hope in this job to pass it on. So thank you for letting me speak.
Try not to take the podium with me. Wow, what an incredible amount of pride that I have for everyone on this panel, for everyone in this room. I wanted to tell you that the Curve Foundation is the only national nonprofit championing LGBTQ plus women and non-binary people's stories in the entire country. How is that possible that we're the only ones? We do it from an intergenerational perspective, and that is so important. What you said about standing on the ground that others laid, yes, that's what I do, and I'm proud to do that. I wanted to highlight a few things here that are going on for Lesbian Visibility Week for the rest of the week. Rebecca's hosting Queer and Proud, an art exhibition from 6 to 8 tomorrow at the center. On Sunday, we have a film presentation of Tank Girl with Frameline at the Roxy. Also on Sunday, we have a mimosa brunch to benefit the Dyke March. And then to round things off, we're going to meet here in front of City Hall to light up the building and celebrate some of the people in our community that have made a difference that you don't know about. So please come out and join us for that. Before I end, I'd just like to say a huge thanks to the mayor, to the president, to Thomas Horn. Thank you for making this event possible. I cannot even believe we're standing here today. It's like a dream come true. Before I close, I just want to also thank Anha. Thank you, An, for everything. Moises, Calvin, Angelina, Marone, Samantha Carol, Rebecca, Imani, Carol, everyone who's spoken here today. I'd also like to thank the foundation of the Curve Foundation, that seems redundant, Jen Rainin, Lex Rosenberg, Julia Rosenzweig, Shelley B. Breen, and our board member, Sparks. So if you want to come out and join us for the illumination of City Hall, please do that. It'll be at 7:30 p.m. right here. Everyone is invited. Bring your dogs, your kids, your friends, our allies. But before we go, I just want to say one thing, that we need to stand united as a community. Lesbian Visibility Week started because there were some very vocal people that were being disparaging to our trans brothers and sisters. That's not okay. Lesbian Visibility Week stands as a symbol of unity. And I just want to say to everyone here today, thank you so much. Let's lift each other up. And thanks again.